Hey there, welcome to another episode of Stoic Answer. Bear your pain and play your role. So, I left Stoicism for a while because I couldn't comprehend something. I wanted to use Stoicism as this philosophy in which, if I used it, I would just be able to change the way I feel. And mostly the people that come to Stoicism come because they are not feeling great. I was not like whenever I'm not feeling great, I want to change that, right? So I was trying to cheat and use Stoicism to feel better, but that's not the way it works. So I came to the realization that it works more like Buddhism. In Buddhism, the first truth that the Buddha found was that life is suffering. That was the first rule, and you have to accept that if you want to be at peace with life, something like it. And so life is full of suffering and full of beauty as well. It's not just suffering, but suffering is a huge chunk of life. So you have to accept that suffering is going to happen. Now, I read one of the essays of Michel de Montaigne, and he says that more than fearing death, we fear everything around death except death itself. Because death itself, we don't know what it is. We just know that it is going to be the same as before when we were born. We know nothing about that. And it was aeons and aeons of millennia, and we have no idea. We were just stardust, and we had no idea of what that was. And so it's not that itself what you fear. What you fear is the pain around death and everything that surrounds it, like the people that are gonna go to the funeral and the people crying there. That's what you feel out, but you're not gonna be there to see that. Like, you're simply not gonna be there. So more than anything, more than that itself, what you fear is the pain that surrounds it. And it's the same with everything else in life. The pain of sickness, the pain of emotional pain, the pain of anxiety, whatever. Pain itself is what you fear. So the question better would be on Stoicism, like, is your pain bearable? And if not, you can go and kill yourself. That's literally what they said. So when you ask yourself the question of, can I bear this pain? It changes how you live your life. Because most of the times you will say, yes, I can bear this pain and I can live with it. Just like Jesus had the cross and had it. Like, burden of being alive is that you're gonna suffer, and that you have to ask yourself, like, can I carry this pain? Can I bear this? And the answer most of the times will be yes. So that's the question you have to ask yourself. And so we feel like we want to run away from pain, right? Like, when I was using Stoicism to feel better, I was running away from my pain, and that's not the way it works. The way it works is you have to accept it, and you have to ask yourself if you can bear it and live with it. And that changes everything, because you're no longer running away. And when you're not running away, you can start to see life as it is and start to work with life as it is. And now, let's think about, let's say, for example, the Spartans. The Spartans cared more about their willingness to withstand pain and to keep themselves honorable than pain itself. Like the kids, when they were punished because they did something wrong or whatever, they didn't show any signs of pain on their face, because it was more important to them to show, like, I don't care, you know. And picture that with your life as well. Like, there are times in your life where when you go through pain, and you do so in a way that it's dignified. Dignified, why? Because, I don't know, when you're lifting weights or whatever, like, it hurts, and you go to struggle and whatever, but you do so because you know that it's a good kind of pain, right? So the idea here is that if you think about you being able to bear the pain, and you accept it, then you can go a step further and kind of like give meaning to it, or give meaning to your soul and the capacity of your soul of bearing whatever, you know. And life is full of suffering. I know I suffer, and I know you suffer from whatever, finances or whatever. We all suffer. We all can tell our tales of suffering. But how we carry it, like how we carry our pains, and the meaning we give to it, each person does in a different way. And there are persons that live their lives magnificently, and you look at them and the way they bear their pain, and even just go in spite of the circumstances, and that's admirable. And that's because they're no longer caring about fortune. And that's the big one of Stoicism, that fortune is something that you cannot really control. And you cannot control that. So you cannot control if your life is going to be good most of the time, or really bad most of the time. But what you can control is bearing for example, your pain in a dignified way. And that's under your control. So you're no longer caring that much about fortune and things happening or not happening, but you care more about your capacity to be with life, to deal with life as it is, and become an active force in it, and not wanting things to be other way, because that's the big thing, right? Like, we want life to be in a certain kind of way that is not. And when you go to your soul and to the question of, can I bear this suffering, and even the happiness, everything, can I bear this, and can that not become my kind of owner, and I can become the owner of myself, and saying, like, I can bear this, I can withstand the pain, withstand the suffering, withstand anything. And there's a certain type of composure that you get when you do that, because you are no longer played by life and what happens in life and what not. You are the one in control. But you have to accept that there's suffering in life, and that you have to just suck it up, like, bear it. So the soul can indeed be mighty. The soul can be this part of ourselves that, if we cultivate enough, it will become into something that we're proud about, because that's what we really are deep down, right? And that's really the truth about Stoicism and Buddhism. Like, going inside, figuring what you are, and actively be something here in this world, not trying to run from what is at any moment, but living with that. And that is being okay with having anxiety with girls, or with your relationships. With relationships is a big one. Like, you want to say the perfect thing to the girl, you want to be I don't know, handsome, you want to be the best man you can be at the dates, and when you talk to the girls and everything. But dude, sometimes I struggle with that. Like, I don't know what to say, right? But you have to say stuff. You have to cultivate a relationship and make it grow, and be okay with it just coming off, like falling apart, because that is life. And the question is, can I bear that pain? And the question almost always is, well, yes, of course I can do this. Like, especially if you live in the first world. I live in Mexico, beauty, but I don't face really harsh problems that a lot of my fellow Mexicans are struggling with. And the truth is that bearing the pain is like, you can do it. People have gone through really, really, really hard shit, and they still go through it. So why can't you, right? So ask yourself the question. And I guess the second truth would be like, life is not static. It will not stay that way. So it's about working with life, accepting it as it is, and being okay with things falling apart, and with the capacity for you to form new things. But yeah, man, it's a hard one to swallow, to accept whatever, right? Because so many things are going to happen. Like, people around you are going to die. Maybe you're going to go through health problems. But those are the times when you can ask yourself, okay, can I bear this, and can I be greater than this? And the way you do that is like, you sustain your pain or your happiness or anything. You sustain it, and in doing so, you dignify it. If we all did that, geez, this would be a great world. So let's do it. Thanks for watching Stoic Answers. See you on the next